Hello guys, so in this video we're going to look at the auditory structure and we're also going to talk about hearing mechanism. Alright, for us to understand hearing mechanism, we need to understand frequency and amplitude because it's on this basis that hearing is actually interpreted. Alright, so let's look at the structure of the ear. So basically the ear is divided into the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. So let's label that. So this is the outer ear, outer ear. This is the middle ear, and this is the inner ear. All right. Now let's look at the outer ear now. Now the outer ear is made up of the pinna, which is this part, the part we can actually touch. It's just cartilage that is lined with skin. All right. So this is the pinna. So let's label this the pinna. Now, what is the function of the pinna? It is actually like a funnel that gathers sound into a particular canal. All right. Now, this pinna gathers sound into a particular canal. Most importantly, the ear does not recognize lyrics. It doesn't recognize the drums. It doesn't recognize the guitar or the piano. All right. So what the ear actually recognizes is vibration, and that vibration must travel in form of wave, in form of sound wave. So when you hear a particular sound, all right, that sound travels in form of wave into this part. This part is called the auditory canal, or you can see the ear canal. Okay, so the wave travels through the ear canal and it gets to this particular structure. Now, this structure is part of the middle ear. Okay, so we've just discussed the outer ear, the pinna, the sound travels through the ear canal. So it gets to the middle ear now. Now, for the middle ear, we have two structures that make up the middle ear. We have the bones, these tiny bones, and the tympanic membrane. Okay, so let's label that. So this is the tympanic membrane, the tympanic membrane, which you know as the eardrum. Eardrum. All right, now we have these other structures. These are tiny bones, and as a matter of fact, these are the tiniest bones in the body. All right, now collectively they are known as the ear ossicles. And what are the three bones? We have the first one called the malleus. The malleus, which is this one. So this first one is the malleus. The second one is called the incus. And the third one is called the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. All right, so these are the ossicles that makes up the middle ear. All right, so the next structure we are going to look at is this structure here. Now, this structure here, part of it is part of the middle ear, but it is mostly regarded as the structure in the inner ear. All right, now this structure is called the semicircular canal. The semicircular canal. The semicircular canal. Now, what's the function of the semicircular canal? Now, inside the semicircular canal, just like the cochlea that has fluid, which we're going to talk about in a short while, inside the semicircular canal are hair-like structure that lines it. Now, what is the function of this structure? It gives information or feedback to the brain. So it sends information to the brain on it sends information to the brain on the body's position or balance, preferably. It sends information to the brain on balance. All right. So this is just telling the brain the position of the body in space. Are you bent over? Are you bent forward? Are you bent backwards? All right. Now this is not proprioception, right? This is not proprioception. Proprioception just has to do with the position, knowing the position of probably your hands, your legs. This has to do with balance, actually. All right. So that is that. Now, the next structure we are going to look at is the most important, actually, which is the cochlea. The cochlea. So this is the cochlea. The cochlea. Now, the cochlea, structurally, it is spiral in shape. So it looks like a snail. Okay? It's spiral in shape. And this is where the hearing, the interpretation of every sound you hear takes place. All right? So when the vibration gets into the ear canal and hits the eardrum, just like the drum, when it hits the eardrum, it just amplifies the vibration. Okay, it amplifies the vibration, and that vibration moves across every structure and gets to the cochlea. The moment it gets to the cochlea, what happens is transduction. Transduction. Now, what is transduction? This is just the conversion of vibration or sound to electrical impulse that is interpreted by the brain. Okay, so this is where every vibration or every sound that is heard is interpreted. Okay, so this is the sound is converted to electrical impulse, and that electrical impulse is what we call action potential. I've done a video on that, on action potential. You can go and check that out. All right, so when this is converted to electrical impulse in the cochlea, it is taken by the auditory nerves. So this structure here is the auditory nerve. The auditory nerves. This takes it directly to the brain. And what part of the brain does this go to? It goes to the auditory cortex. Now, the auditory cortex, auditory nerves goes to the auditory cortex. Auditory cortex. And the auditory cortex is found in the part of the brain called the temporal lobe. So the temporal lobe of the brain, which is around this area, right? That is where you can find the auditory cortex. So the moment this sound is interpreted, is converted to an electrical impulses, it travels through the auditory nerves down to the auditory cortex in the temporal lobe, where the sound is interpreted, like probably a music or whatever sound, a speech or a loud sound, a low sound. Now, it is also important to note that the frequency actually also is determined in the cochlea. All right, so at the base of the cochlea, which is this part, the base of the cochlea, it determines high frequency sound. All right, so that high pitch, which is frequency, is determined at the base, but the low pitch, the low sound, is determined at the apex. So this part is where we call the apex. The apex is determined at the apex. All right, so this is just an overview of the auditory structure. Thank you, and see you in my next video.